to the CIIC Live. This is Saqib Asim and I will be conducting this session. I would like to introduce our guest first in this session. He is an actor and an anchor. He is an Australian with Indian heart, Mr. Charles Thomson, and is popularly known as Biharilal, as he has spent his 11 years of his childhood practicing yoga in India. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, shall we start proceedings with questions?
Yes, sure. Please go ahead. You're most welcome.
Okay, sir. So first question which I'm going to ask you is, how according to you the language we speak is influence our lifestyle, sir?
Okay. So when we use the word lifestyle, to many people that has different meanings. But one way is, I could say, the quality of our lifestyle. Okay. So it's incredibly important that when we speak or when we use language, that we also give some preference to our mother tongue. And our mother tongue is what language? The language when we were born and the language that our parents spoke to us. Now, where that becomes very interesting and very unique is that in every part of India, there are different languages. So it is not, for example, in Bihar, that your mother tongue is Hindi. It could be Bhojpuri, it could be Maithili, it could be Angi Vasha. So what happens is the mother tongue, the language that you learn from your parents, is the one that's the easiest to visualize and to think outside the box.
That was a good answer, sir. Describing your point of view on language, how it influences our lifestyle, sir. Sir, coming to my next question, sir. What impact does English language have on a professional life, sir?
Okay, so this is an interesting question because this question would not be asked anywhere else in the world except in India.
Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of politics behind this question. But what has to be understood is that in India, an overimportance is put on English, far beyond the value of English. English is my mother tongue. I respect my mother tongue. I speak the language fluently.
Yes, sir.
But there is a misconception that, and this is not only by employees, but by employers in India, that one must speak good English to be able to grow and survive in the workforce.
Okay. Yes, sir, you should much more emphasize on our mother tongue rather than speak in English or something like that.
It's not just English. It's the ability. India, our grandparents had this wonderful ability where they spoke 3 languages. Now what's happening with a lot of youth of India is, I'll give you an example. The grandparents spoke Bhojpuri in their native district of Bihar or Uttar Pradesh. Then the family moved to Delhi. Then the parents spoke Hindi and Bhojpuri. But now the children who are learning and growing up, they may speak a little bit of Hindi. They can understand Hindi. They speak no Bhojpuri, but their whole focus is on the English language, right?
Yes, sir.
And what they've misunderstood is the ability to speak different languages. One is a very strong instrument that we can use in our life. The second thing where there's a lot of confusion, especially with Hindi, is the mixing of languages. Traditionally, when you speak one language, you only speak that language. You don't mix it with another language. This just puts you back a bit when you go to another country or to another place where they may not speak the other language that you're mixing. So I would just say that there's too much emphasis on English, and I would also make the observation very strongly that many of the major multinationals of the world, when they come to a country like India, they are not looking for English speakers. They are looking for people who have mastered and understood the local languages, including Hindi, including Tamil, including Marathi. Why? Because they know these are the mass languages. English in India is an elite language, and it's used in that way. Many times when I speak in Hindi, people get upset with me and put me down because, unfortunately, the British understood the importance given previously to Sanskrit. And it doesn't matter whether it's Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, even Bhojpuri. All languages in India have their root from Sanskrit. So in English very cleverly removed Sanskrit and put English there as the master language. Even though up until the 1600s in the United Kingdom, the royal family did not speak English. They spoke French. The scientists and the priests and the learned scholars who could read and write spoke Latin. The peasants spoke English, Irish, and Welsh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for that piece of information, sir, which students don't know, and they're much more emphasized on English. So coming to my next question is, what kind of entrepreneurial advancement do you think is needed in India right now?
I think the bigger picture item is entrepreneurship is something that's becoming a fashion now before it was put down. It's becoming something very wide and many people are very much interested and many young people are starting their own businesses, their own ideas and everything. Where is the weakness? Attention to detail. If we look at people like the Japanese or the Koreans or the Germans, the one thing we learn from these communities is attention to detail. So whilst an entrepreneur is often in the beginning having wonderful dreams and wonderful aspirations, that part of the jigsaw puzzle as an entrepreneur should not be forgotten.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, as per your experience in India, what do you think is the most important advancement which India has received right now in the field of entrepreneurship?
Okay, what is the greatest entrepreneur advancement to be proud of?
So shall I repeat your question?
No, I understand the question. Gosh, that's a difficult one. I think what I could say is, and once again, this is highly political, but this sense of nationalism in entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And why do I say this? Because until Indians start to believe in their own culture, their own worth, their own strength, and they do not have to or follow this idea that everything outside of India is better than India, entrepreneurs will not thrive. But I would say that probably in the last 4 years, this is starting to change. And this is one of the strengths. And how do I say this? And why do I say this? Because many young people who have gone abroad, studied, got highly skilled, and worked with amazing companies abroad are now feeling inspired and encouraged to return to India and bring that knowledge with them and start an entrepreneurial journey within India or Bharat.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, you have been so long in India. So, sir, I would like you to answer my one question in Hindi, sir. Would you like to, sir?
Sure. Go ahead.
So, you have your documentary, Biharilal, the Australian wanderer. So, would you like to share something about it?
Okay. तो ये क्या है ना, अभी फिनिश नहीं हुआ है. असली मैं एक्टर हूँ, प्रोड्यूसर कोई है. उनका नाम है राज सूरी, वो सिडनी बेस्ड है. वो कश्मीरी पंजाबी है. उसका छोटा भाई का नाम है संजय सूरी और वो काफी मशहूर है बॉलीवुड में, सब उसको जानता है, बड़ा अच्छा है. तो मैंने राज सूरी जब ये प्रोजेक्ट शुरू किया था, तो वो प्रोजेक्ट में उनको ये विचार था कि कुछ लोग जो वापस आकर के हिंदुस्तान में एंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री में काम करता है और कैसा उनका जीत पाता है, वो कहानी दिखलाएगा. लेकिन चलते 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 मेरा कहानी इतना बड़ा हो गया, उसमें ज्यादा मेरा बारे में है. तो मैंने देखा कि मुझे इतना इंटरेस्टिंग मौका मिला है हिंदुस्तान में अलग अलग चीज में. मैं राज सूरी को बोला है, अरे कितना भी साल लगेगा कोई बात नहीं, क्योंकि अल्टीमेट में हम लोग तो फिल्म फेस्टिवल्स में रिलीज करेगा. और
sir.
आप लोग को खुद मालूम है कि खास करके बिहार झारखंड ये प्रदेश जो है ना, वहाँ का
sir,
लोग
बिहार,
सबसे
झारखंड,
ज्यादा
यूपी।
मेहनत करता है,
हाँ
लेकिन
सर।
उनका जो ब्रांडिंग है वो थोड़ा सा पीछे रह जाता है ना। तो
हाँ सर।
इसलिए हम उनको बोला था कि चलो कितना साल लगेगा हमको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। अब मैं उनको बोल रहा है कि चलिए उसको खत्म करो, अभी 10% 5% बाकी है, इसको खत्म करो और हम लोग फिल्म फेस्टिवल में भेज देंगे। और क्यों? उसमें एक बात है जो लोग भूल जाता है,
हाँ सर।
हिंदुस्तान में 30-40 करोड़ लोग हैं जो उसको बोलते हैं अपर मिडिल क्लास है।
हाँ सर,
वो लोग खूब अच्छा से जीवन रहता है, अच्छे से जीवित रहता है। विदेशों में हमेशा ये दिखाता है स्लम डॉग, मतलब विदेशों में ये दिखाता है कि हर एक व्यक्ति हिंदुस्तान में महागरीब है।
गरीब है। यस।
हाँ, हर एक व्यक्ति के पास कपड़ा ठीक से नहीं है, ठीक से नहीं जा पाता है, लैट्रिन है ही नहीं, खाना ठीक नहीं है। ठीक है, मोदी जी ने इस चीज को थोड़ा सा ठीक किया है ब्रांडिंग में, लेकिन ये
हाँ सर,
बात
बहुत चीजें चेंज हो रही है सर, इंडिया डेवलप हो रही है।
हाँ बहुत लोग हैं। देखिए, अगर जाए हिमाचल प्रदेश जाएंगे, उत्तराखंड
हाँ
जाएंगे,
सर।
केरला जाएंगे, आपको ऐसा लोग मिलेगा जो ज्यादा सैलरी हाई नहीं है, लेकिन उनका जो रहने का जो जीवन है, लाइफ है, उनका पास जमीन है, सब सब्जी है, फल है, सब कुछ है, उनका रहना बहुत अच्छा है और वो अपना संस्कृति के साथ रहता है तो बहुत अच्छा है ना। तो वो ठीक है, वो थोड़ा सा ये वो जो डॉक्यूमेंट्री है वो
हाँ
इसी
सर।
लाइन पे। हाँ जी, तो वो अभी हो सकता है, मैं तो पुश कर रहा है कि 6 महीने के बाद निकाल दो और हम लोग फिल्म फेस्टिवल्स में भेज देंगे।
ओके
ठीक
सर,
है,
we'll expect it to come within 6 months and look at it.
हाँ हाँ एकदम।
Sir, so coming to our next question, sir,
हाँ,
what what are the factors that helps an organization to be in a sustainable environment in a society too, so that it creates a sustainable environment in a society?
okay, I think here we're really talking about places where you have a company or an NGO, whatever, with 50 or
Yes, sir.
more people. And what's incredibly important within that company structure, wherever it may be, is HR, human resources. And when that's not there, then all of these problems come about. When it's there, then a lot of these problems are taken head on. And I won't mention them, but even today, there are large companies in India, even government companies, and HR doesn't exist.
Yes, sir.
HR has this wonderful role of both making sure the employees upgrade themselves, look at their qualities, improve themselves, but
Yes, sir.
also make the company more environmentally aware and more connected with society.
Sir, coming to the next question, which is related to entrepreneurship, sir. So
Yes.
nowadays, entrepreneurship is sort of something like only earning money, something which is related to earning money, living a lavish life, or something of that sort. So, how to convince the new entrepreneurs to be a social entrepreneur?
I would answer it slightly differently, and I would answer it from the position of being a bhakt of Hindustan Sanskriti. In other words, what I'm saying in English, I would
Yes, sir.
answer
So
from
you can answer in Hindi if you want, sir, because our viewers
okay,
are.
in Hindi I can answer, but
Yes.
I'll say it in English.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, I'm going to give this answer from somebody who loves India. Okay.
Okay, sir.
What astounds me, it blows my day, have not seen a 5-10 minute YouTube video, or it might even be, the full video might be half an hour, of the current Prime Minister in the United States at Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg. If anybody watches that video, and I'm talking about entrepreneurs, it's a complete game changer and mind-opening experience. How is that possible? Because when Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, went to Facebook and they had an open session, Mark Zuckerberg,
Yes, sir.
probably one of the greatest, youngest entrepreneurs on this planet, what did he say? He said a couple of things that were quite amazing, and I'll just put it in context very quickly. The first thing he said was, I am so happy that the Prime Minister of India has come. And of course, all the politicians around the world were furious because nobody else had thought of the idea of doing this. But anyway, he was there. And I'm a very personal person. I have my family. I love my parents. I know Narendra Modi also loves his parents. And then Mark Zuckerberg did something which he normally never does. He showed his parents to the world sitting there in the audience. After saying that, the Prime Minister of India had to respond. So what did he respond with? He said that when I was a child, my mother was so poor, she could not feed me. So she would go to another hut, wash the pots of somebody else, get that money to feed me. And Narendra Modi started crying. Now, up till this point, of course, when a prime minister of the largest democracy in the world in a foreign country starts crying, the whole world looks at this. And I can assure you, and there's something more to come in this, that the whole world was watching. It just stuns me and surprises me that the youth of India have not picked up on this interview. Then what happens is, after Narendra Modi does this, Mark Zuckerberg reveals something. He talks about his early days as an entrepreneur and the fact that he was about to give up on Facebook. It was too complicated. It wasn't working properly. He was either going to dump it or sell it. So he went to his mentor. And who was his mentor? Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple.
Yes.
And what did Steve Jobs tell Mark Zuckerberg, which was mind-blowing? He told him, take 1 or 2 months off, go to India, go to the Himalayas, and go and meet some Babas and stay in an ashram. We won't mention the name. So we are talking of the world's 2 most amazing entrepreneurs on the planet. And what are they talking about? They're talking about India. They're talking about India's culture. They're talking about India's sadhus. And why? Because if you're an entrepreneur, not only do you need vision, but you need to think outside of the box. And one of the greatest ways to in-tune or to open your mind out of the box is to tap into traditional old or traditional Indian culture, whether it be meditation, whether it be sadhus, whether it be an ashram. So I would be saying to many of those young entrepreneurs that you're thinking about who want to buy a Ferrari, a Porsche, drive a BMW and make billions of dollars, that if they meet the entrepreneurs around the world, one of the first things that's going to shock them is those entrepreneurs have either backpacked or have some connection with India. And why? Because they open their mind, they expand their consciousness. And with that expansion, they were able to think outside of the box and develop products that were mind-blowing.
So coming to my next question, so you have been living so long in India.
Hello, it's getting a bit unstable here, but go on.
Yes, I'm saying that you have been living so long in India. What did you find so interesting and special in India in terms of its cultural advancement?
Does cultural difference play in economic growth? What did you find? Oh, what did you find special in India in terms of cultural advancement?
Yes.
Is that the question?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, you'll have to repeat the question.
So I'm asking you,
what did you find special in terms of cultural advancement?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Okay, one thing that I'll put my mind to is that I'm surprised but delighted now the importance put to Sanskrit.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and this is now, there are opening departments of Sanskrit in the universities in India, but it may become a surprise to your audience. In Germany, 14 universities have Sanskrit departments. Why are foreigners so keen on understanding and learning Sanskrit? Because it's the science of sound. And once again, whether you're going to space or whether you're doing any type of development, Sanskrit is a wonderful tool to help you on that path.
That was a good answer, sir. Thank you, sir. So coming to my last question, and after this we're going to be winding up. So shall I ask? Yes, sir. What role does cultural difference play in an economic growth?
if you do not have a strong cultural background, if you do not also bring your culture with development, you end up with a society like China. I urge all of those who think China is an economic miracle to go there to the provinces and spend a month or spend a couple of months and watch, observe, and listen and understand what happens when the only object is to make money and not to appreciate traditional cultures.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure having you, sir, at CIIC Live. We would like to thank you for sparing your valuable time with us, and we hope that we have many more informative interactions with you in near future, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Jai Hind, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Thank you, sir. So thank you, sir. We hope we have a meeting again, sir.
Yeah, sure,
So
sure.
we are
No problem.
we're done with the
Okay.
interview, sir. So how was the interview, sir?
Oh, that's fine. I'm just hoping this goes to Indian students. So what
Yes,
I'm doing
yes.
is I'm fortunate enough to be working with the lead professor of Delhi University think tank, and I'm working now with some of the professors there so that we
sir.
can start getting some Indian cultural thinking and Indian traditions, Bharat traditions into
Yes,
the
sir.
minds of the students. Just because something comes from the West doesn't naturally mean that it's all good or it's all bad,
I get it, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, in India, you know, this is really, really important. You know, there's a huge disconnect. And this was brought about because of the British rule. All the institutions and all of these things, they're very cunningly, you know, have put
Yes,
a
sir.
very strong British flavor to these.
Okay, sir.
Whereas if you go to Britain, right, most of the
Yes, sir.
people, most Brits believe in complementary medicine. And what's complementary medicine?
Ayurvedic.
Any idea? Ayurveda, acupuncture, acupressure, homeopathy,
Yes, sir.
right?
All these are
But
originated
the
from
own
India as
medical
well, sir.
doctors in India think it's all
Yes.
quackery. When you study it, if you were studying in India, there is
Yes,
no
sir.
reference to Indian traditional medicine. Yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So when you study a course, like what are you studying?
So right now I'm doing
What
BTech,
are you
sir,
studying?
Bachelor's in Technology, sir. Bachelor's in Technology, sir. Civil.
What are
From
you
Civil
studying?
Department. So Bachelor's in Technology
Okay.
from Civil Department.
So in your Bachelor's of Technology, apart,
Yes, sir.
huh?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Your line is dropping off, it's going, but all I would say to you is that just ask yourself the question,
Yes, sir.
curriculum, what are they teaching you that actually relates to India as a nation?
Right. So right now they are teaching the technical things that like, we don't have any such curriculum which is teaching the Indian culture or something like that. Till the school level, they teach us all those things, but in technical
They
field,
teach.
standard 12th, standard 10th, they teach those things to the students.
Okay.
But
Okay,
in
anyway.
a professional,
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Okay. It's starting to shake. The thing's starting to shake. So, okay. Wonderful talking to you. We'll talk again.
thank you,
Okay.
sir. Hope we meet
Okay,
soon, sir.
Jai Jakan.